Emeritus of Temple Beth, and joined this evening by Deb Friedman, a member of our choir. Rabbi Gorban is still enjoying her time at Camp Kalsman and will be back tomorrow morning. And Cantor Fine is still resting his voice to hopefully get it stronger. So welcome to those who are here in person, those who are joining us virtually, and especially to the friend and family of Max Miller for this beginning to his special weekend.
1.5.
So we will start on page 10, joining together in Ma Yafeh Hayom.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Now please turn back to pages 3 and then 2 for the Shabbat candle lighting. And for the candle lighting, it's my pleasure to call upon Max and his parents, Daniel and Jessica, and brother Leo.
Come on, I guess we're gonna face that way. You can be right here. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechad ligner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. We now continue on pages 20 and 21 as we welcome the Shabbat bride with Lahadodi, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And before the 9th verse, invite you to rise and face the door.
Lahadodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lahadodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורק קומי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגנה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Before you're seated, as is the custom now, we invite you to wish Shabbat Shalom to those seated next to you. Introduce yourselves if you are meeting new people, and we will spend a couple minutes doing that. Turn this off. So if you will head back to your seats. As we prepare to transition to the Shema and blessings will join in the Hatzi Kaddish on page 26.
Yetkada v'yetkadash shemei rabba.
Amen.
V'yamad divrach yirotei v'yamlik malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayet et kol beit Yisrael. Bagala uv'zman kahari v'imaru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam olam me'almaya yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'reichu le'ulim min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nachemata damiran b'yama v'imaru. Amen.
Please rise in body and spirit and invite Max forward to lead us in the next part of the service, beginning on page 28.
Please be seated.
Okay.
Or stay standing. We continue on page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is an hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Shemim,
Kavod malchuto le'olam va'ed.
We continue on page 36. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'chayu ha'devarim ha'eleh asher anochi
ניצבך, היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
We'll now continue first on page 41 and then back on page 40 with Micha Mocha. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עוזר פלא, עוזר פלא. כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאולה מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Join together in the middle of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over as we go forth.
Prepare for us as we return. Spread
Over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Now celebrating Shabbat, we join in V'shamru on page 44.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני, את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Continue now with the tefillah, beginning on page 46. Please rise in body and spirit. Adonai, sefatai tifta, ufia gitahilatecha.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot ve'imachot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'elam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Atah, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei Hakol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somek Noflim V'Rofeh Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melach Memit, Umechayeh, Umasmiach Yeshua, V'na'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'kol yom yahalucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue individually through page 63. You may be seated when you are finished. Now at the bottom of page 62. Oseh Shalom first. After the Mishabera. Yeah.
Okay. Oseh Shalom Bimroma Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Yisrael Ve'imnaru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimroma Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Yisrael Ve'imnaru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimroma Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Yisrael Ve'imnaru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimroma Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Yisrael Ve'imnaru Amen.
Please turn now to page 253. So take a few moments to think of those who are in need of healing of body, healing of spirit at this time. Invite you to share names of those who especially need healing blessings.
Beth Wuffers and Karen Seifel.
Amy Miller.
Sarah Rubinstein family and the Price family.
Joyce.
Natalie, Rhiannon, Roxy, Jim, and the people of Newport. Natalie Mayer, Josh K., Bunny Peters, Diane Flickstein, and Debbie Rustin.
Okay, John.
Marilyn Bradley, Irene Perez, Lindsay Claycon, and Sarah Shanstra.
Sue Ringhall, Gwen and Mike Tamaroo, Cliff Hillman, Lynn Schaefer, Susan Peters, Nita and Ron Gupta, and the people of Israel.
Vincent Price and Sarah Victor.
Great. Great.
Chapter 5.
The Joy family.
Sylvia, Mel, Nora Hacker and family, and our house neighbors.
Parker family, the Crickman family, Alvin Idol, and the oldest family.
Kyle Rubel and Carl Sulkin. Dee Rodkin. Nels Johnson and William Burke. Connie Phil Person, Jean Schubert, and
We join now in these words of health and healing.
Mishabera Avotenu Makor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones we let us say Amen.
And now we invite you to share moments of gratitude, something you're particularly thankful for this week. And I will bring the mic around, so just raise your hand and we'll unmute it. Anything? Yes. Good place to start.
Thankful for all.
I thought I unmuted it.
Thankful for all. Were you, Jason? You getting me on this one? Okay. Oh, there we go. Thankful for all the family and friends that are here tonight and will be here in the morning. Thankful to be here with Max. Thankful for Cantor and Rabbi preparing him, and thankful for Rabbi and Deb to be here, and Debbie playing. Just so wonderful to be here with all of you tonight.
Thanks.
Great.
No.
I'm just grateful. I'm just very grateful to be here at the bar mitzvah of my grandson, Max.
It's something really small, but I'm glad I just didn't ruin my bangs when I cut them today. So I was offered one of the jobs that I interviewed for a couple weeks ago, and I'll be making like $6 more an hour, which means I might actually be able to buy my own groceries again, which will be lovely.
Awesome.
A good friend of mine had an accident last year, and she's sort of been in a minimally conscious state, sort of like a coma for about a year, and she's sort of starting to come out of it a little bit, which is really exciting. And I was able to share some really exciting news with her, and she like had a reaction to it. Yeah.
I am thankful for my husband, Peter, who's been picking up all the slack while I've been away and sick over the past couple of weeks.
Anyone else? Oh, sorry.
I'm thankful that my mom was able to get a neurology appointment in Seattle really quickly when she needed it. I'm also thankful for my grandma and the role she played in my life and raising me. It's her 86th birthday today.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
My good friend over in Iowa survived an OD, and she's currently seeking treatment right now.
I'm thankful for my whole congregation. I just love being here with everyone.
After fighting for about a year and a half with a hot tub company that I've lost much of my temper with, we got a new hot tub this week, so barbecue's on.
I don't think I can top 86 years of times going around, but it's rumored, depending upon if you believe in the Korean method of counting or the Western method of counting, it'll be my 64th time around the sun.
Congratulations.
And actually, I do have something. Well, thank you. It's beautiful being back here with you again, Rabbi. Thank you. I had very special visitors this week. I got to hold honorary grandchildren, and this weekend I have more special visitors come, and I got my baby fix.
This has been a very difficult week for Israel and for everyone who cares about Israel. As I'm sure you are aware, on Monday, the Knesset, Israel's parliament, voted 64-0 to adopt what is known as the Reasonableness Bill, which stripped Israel's Supreme Court of its ability to overturn legislation and government appointments, which the court deems to be extremely unreasonable. All members of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's ruling coalition voted in favor of the bill, while all of the opposition Knesset members walked out in protest. Several rabbis pointed out the irony of this action occurring just days before Tisha B'Av, the commemoration of the destruction of the first and second temples, as well as other catastrophes in Jewish history, including the expulsion of the Jews from Spain, suggesting that the passage of this bill is on par with these other disasters in our people's history. The unprecedented protests throughout the country leading up to the vote certainly indicate that significant numbers of Israelis believe that this action and other legislation attempting to limit the power of the court, which will be taken up in the fall, will endanger Israel's future as a democratic state. In response to this vote, Israel's major newspapers all published a front page that was completely black with the words, "A Black Day for Israel Democracy." These ads were paid for by the Israel high-tech protest movement, which has been in the forefront of the ongoing protests against legislation. Indeed, many have warned that this effort will destroy Israeli startup nation as Israelis choose to relocate. To understand the significance of this bill and why it threatens the core of Israeli democracy, one must begin with the fact that the Supreme Court is the only check on the power of the Prime Minister and the Knesset, which essentially act as one, since the Prime Minister needs the support of a majority of the members of the Knesset to stay in power. Secondly, and just as important, is the fact that Israel does not have a constitution or Bill of Rights. Instead, Israel has basic laws which enshrine certain core ideas into law. These include affirming the Knesset as Israel's parliament, the role of the president as head of state, the IDF as Israel's army, Jerusalem as Israel's capital, the right to human dignity and liberty, and most recently, the law affirming that Israel is the nation state of the Jewish people. Each of the basic laws has much more detail, and together they are in a sense viewed as Israel's constitution, and at times have been used by the Supreme Court to overturn other laws passed by the Knesset. Historically, the Supreme Court has provided a significant check on the power of the parliamentary majority, often protecting the rights of minorities, including the reform movement in Israel. Thus, attempts to limit its authority have the potential to undermine the one institution which has often stood up for civil rights and other key democratic values. It has not used the termed reasonableness argument often, but only in those instances where it believes that legislation conflicts with Israel's basic laws, or when the appointment of a certain individual to a cabinet post is inappropriate. For example, earlier this year, the court ruled that Aryeh Deri could not serve because in the plea bargain to his conviction on tax evasion, he promised not to return to public life. The vote by the Knesset, though, is not the end of the story, because the Supreme Court has agreed to hear two petitions which challenge this vote when it returns for recess after the summer. If the court ultimately rules that the law is not acceptable, it would likely set up a showdown between the Knesset and the court, which Israel has never seen. Furthermore, and more troubling, this law is only one small part of a much broader agenda of Netanyahu's right-wing coalition to institute significant changes on the court and in Israel. Indeed, a draft law was introduced on Wednesday that would prevent Israel's Attorney General from prosecuting government ministers, a move clearly intended to stop the current ongoing corruption trial of Prime Minister Netanyahu. It's also expected that legislation will be introduced that would alter the selection of Supreme Court justices, giving more power to the Knesset, the majority, of course, in the Knesset, and taking away power from Israel's Bar Association, which has traditionally played a key role in appointing court members. The Israel Policy Forum website lists 7 proposals related to judicial reform, which are at various stages in the process of enactment, each of which would significantly diminish the power of the judiciary. The protests against the law have been unprecedented in scale and scope, extending to virtually every sector of the country. My daughter and her family, who spent a month there this summer, participated in a couple of the protests in Tel Aviv. There have been general strikes, and most ominous, a threat by up to 10,000 Israel reservists to refuse to serve when they are called to do so, as they are routinely each year. Polls have consistently shown that a significant majority of Israeli voters are opposed to this legislation and support compromise efforts initiated by Israel's President, Chaim Herzog, efforts which so far have failed. How do we as American Jews who care deeply about Israel and its future respond to all of this? One of my colleagues on our Reform Facebook page asked for guidance from our Israeli colleagues. Let me share a couple of their responses. Rabbi Chaim Shalom wrote, "I want you to talk about hope. I want you to talk about love. I want you to talk about how hard it is to see a country one loves choose a dangerous path of self-harm. I want you to make clear that democracy is not just the tiny, thin majority enforcing its will on the minority, and that is true whenever we are. There are universal moral truths which we cannot turn our backs on." He reminded us that by today's Shabbat, we will be past Tisha B'Av, which not only calls upon us to mourn for destruction, but is also a testament to our resilience, our tenacity, and our ability to continue and survive and adapt. Rabbi Leora Ezrahi Vered wanted to be sure that we focused on the huge waves of people working for a better Israel. She also noted that the reform movement in Israel needs friendship and solidarity more than ever, as they are among the forefront activists in the efforts to oppose the legislation. These are indeed important messages to take to heart this Shabbat. It's still too early to know the extent of the impact of the passage of this bill and what further efforts it might bring to undermine Israel's democratic vision. This is only the beginning of the story. Tomorrow morning, we will read from Parashat Ve'et Hanan, the second portion in the book of Deuteronomy, which contains both the Ten Commandments and the Shema V'ahavta. These are, in essence, Judaism's most basic laws, although technically they are no more important than the other 600 or so mitzvot in the Torah. We instinctively know, however, that they are the core teachings which have assured our survival and set the course for who we are as a people. That these core teachings continue to endure and guide us should give us hope and strength that whatever happens in Israel as a result of the vote in the Knesset earlier this week, we can continue to survive and thrive as a people. I've often said that I love Israel, I love the land of Israel, and I love the people of Israel. That's why it is so painful to see what is happening now and how the citizens are so divided. But when I am tempted to despair, I remember that Israel chose as its national anthem a poem by Naftali Herz Imber entitled Hatikva, the Hope. We have now been a free people in our land for 75 years, confronting enemies both external and internal. We've met many challenges during that time and should therefore feel confident that we will once again meet the current challenge, assuring that Israel remains a Jewish and a democratic state. Shabbat Shalom. Now, I think Maddie Plumer is going to take the lead announcements, but I think she's going to be assisted by our president, Greg Kleiner, so call them forward. Maybe she doesn't know this. I think they can make it. Can you get the mic on? Yeah.
Okay, all right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Thank you.
First, Mazel Tov to Max Miller, and welcome to his family and friends. And thanks to Debbie, as always, and to Debbie. I love her. And it's so great to see Rabbi Cadden here tonight. And thank you to Jason on tech, and Sean, as always, in the front for security. And Vivian Morrison did our work with the ONIG tonight. Thank you. And who am I forgetting?
Stacy.
And Stacy, I asked Stacy, she said no. Yeah, Stacy's off tonight, I guess, which is very unusual. Thank you, Stacy, for all the things you do.
Mark Rutlinger welcoming.
Oh, and Mark Rutlinger, yes, for welcoming people. And okay, so a couple of announcements. Everything is in the Shabbat Shalom. The Jewish Book Club is August 1st, this coming Tuesday. We have a Betty dinner and general meeting in person Wednesday, August 9th from 4 to 6. There's a Pet Shabbat multi-access on Friday, August 11th at 6:30. The annual Community Summer Barbecue, which is being hosted by our new Brotherhood group, is on Sunday, August 13th at 11:30 here at Temple. And then TBE's Green Team Diano Climate Change Circle Kickoff is in person on Wednesday, August 16th from 6 to 7:10. Spiff It Up Day in person Sunday, August 27th from 9 to 12. It's for all ages, so please contact Janie as far as building needs for cleanup and Diane Burke for the grounds. We really need volunteers in two areas especially. We need volunteers to help with security at the front door each temple event, because Sean is here all the time and that's not fair. So if you are interested in that, please call the temple. And also we need help for volunteers to help with Onyx Shabbats, because Stacy and a few others put in so much time. Our High Holy Day food drive, there was information in the Shabbat, in the bulletin that came out today online, and for those of you who get hard copies, there's full information on how to give to the Emergency Food Network. So look for that. And Shabbat Shalom, and again, congratulations, Max.
It's always nice to have people smarter than me up here first. So, everybody recognizes this, right? Okay? So, we have a number of those here. We will be passing them out. You take them home, you take those or these home from the grocery store. So, between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, fill them up with food and bring them and put them in Rotunda. And if you don't want to fill them with food, just write a check and put it in here, or go online and make a contribution, and we will continue to provide food for the folks in our community who need food. We have a food bank that we worked with for years, and so that's the reminder. And the flyers for the Green Team Diana workshop, with the correct date written in on the 16th, are up front. You can take them with you. It's got all the information on it. Is that one right? Okay. Thank you, Jason. That's it. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We'll now turn in our prayer books to page 282 and 287. Please rise.
לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשחווים ומודים לפני מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Please turn now to page 294. As we prepare for Mourner's Kaddish, we first especially remember those who we are observing Shloshim for, Nancy Wheeler, mother of David Wheeler. And as I read our yahrzeits for this Shabbat, if you are remembering someone, please rise as I mention the name. Roland Bennett, Maybelle Blau, Dora Brodsky, Doreen Cohen, Jeanette Crystal, Sharon Elstein, Beatrice Helene Fishman, Arnold Flax, Jana Frumkin, Shmuel Mula Gorbin, Marion Hantover, Morton Jacob Harris, Rose Harris, Anderson Colby Hirschhold, Michael Hodes, Joshua Isaac, Mayor Kaplan, Alan F. Kay, Herman Lair, Raymond Lepage, Dorothy Mayer, James Malik, Anna Mandels, Aaron Mandels, Louis Mesher, Lois Michaels, Harry Posner, Rose Posner, Alan J. Raphael, Florence Rose, Mary Joan Salerno, William Salk, Lorraine Schwartz, Dennis Seinfeld, Malka Schwab, Dave Siegel, Bess Simon, Henry Stahl, Fanny Staymeisen, Rita Wallbank. Zikronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Any other names to mention? Now invite everyone to rise as we join in Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael, v'hagala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam olamei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Yitadar v'yitadar v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu le'ela mincho birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the Creator of peace in the heavens above create peace for us, for Israel, and for all the world. And let us say, Amen. Amen. We turn now to page 344, so we join in our closing song, Shir Hadash.
Shirul Adonai kol haaretz. Shirul Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shirul Adonai kol haaretz. Shirul Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
Now we turn back to page 5 for the Kiddush, followed by Motzi on 302, and invite Max forward and any young people who are here to
Supposed to do
join us.
something here.
This is for you.
That's for me.
Yeah. Let's pour a little for everybody else.
Yes. I think I found it.
Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat shlomo, v'ahavot ratzon inkilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah l'mikrei kodesh, zecher tziat v'Mitzrayim, kivanu l'chata, yotzanu kidashta, mikol ha'aretz, l'shavat kodesh.
Some beautiful home-baked challah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'oro.
Shabbat Shalom. And there is an oneg, right, in the social hall to
Courtyard.
Courtyard. Okay, so please join the Miller family for wonderful after-service treat.